Did you know Bond students have been in every Olympics since '92? How do they do it? Bond is known for its prowess in the sporting domain. With incredible facilities throughout campus, it means you can easily transition from this to this. Sport is alive and well at Bond University.
We're at Base Architecture Meadows for round 6 of the Bond University QAFLW. We're about to watch UQ take on the Aspley Hornets. And it's Doug Nichols' round, of course, where we acknowledge and celebrate the contributions of First Nations peoples to the game of Australian rules. A fantastic opportunity to acknowledge their contributions throughout decades and decades of history of this sport. You'll see plenty of different touches throughout this game of Indigenous touches, and we'll go through those as we can. And Daniel Viles, off you go.
Thanks very much, Hannah Davies. Emma McDonald got the first tap down for Aspley, wearing their traditional hoops today, and the UQ in their fantastic purple Indigenous jersey. Emma Pittman, who's playing in the midfield today, got the ball inside 50, then turned 360. Umpire Jess Cunning awards the first free kick of the game, and it is to the University of Queensland Red Lionesses, once they get themselves sorted out, to Sammy Snowden.
So UQ firstly in the deep purple uniform, another one of their Indigenous Guernseys that they don each year. Looking fantastic.
Aspley on the attack. More on the wearing their own. Jess Stallard, goal side, couldn't hold on to it. They've done enough. Handballed forward to Henning. Henning clears at the outside of the boot. Mark dropped by Sartor. It's sunny overhead, but underfoot it is muddy. Ashley Moyle with the tackle brought to ground.
So two pretty new-look sides this year. Fair bit of turnover across the whole competition, really, wasn't there, Daniel? And these two sides certainly saw that as well.
Yeah, UQ having to rebuild for probably the third year in a row. It's every now and then Ross Clayfield looks around the competition and says, you know, I've made about 4 pretty good clubs in this competition. So through to Jasmine Carver, who has never played for UQ. Gets it forward inside 50. Found Stallard, who is an ex-UQ player. And she'll have a set shot from what is almost always within range for the sharpshooter.
Yeah, what a beautiful delivery there, and just perfectly clean hands early on from Stallard.
Coming into today in the 5 matches, only 14 marks inside 50 for Aspley, which is a staggeringly low number for them. But they've got one in the first couple of minutes here at Base Architecture Meadows. Jess Stallard to the right of goal. Crashes into the right-hand upright.
Oh, probably kicking herself for that one. Delivery looked pretty nice. Just a shame it just spun around to the right.
Yeah, and there's no wind here, so it was obviously just sort of a millimetre off the centre of the boot. It's Jessie Henning. Back at fullback today. He's been mostly playing centre-half-back of late. Tallis off the fingers. Met by Moyle.
So the two sides here today, UQ sitting on 6th and Aspley 7th. Probably, it's been a few years since we've seen Aspley down that side of the ladder.
Well, yeah, it's since Luke Clacken left here and went to Aspley, they've had a grand final appearance and a preliminary final appearance. But they've got the most beautiful dry weather football game in the competition. As Emma McDonald, one of their recruits this year from Sherwood. Strong tackle coming in from Jessie McMillan, another recruit. And then O'Flaherty was the last to lay the tackle on Annalise Neary. And
good timing dimension conditions. Obviously it looks very sunny, not a lot of wind, but this ground is quite soggy.
Indeed it is, as Tallis just put the tackle on, ball squirted out, went past McDonald, Coco Garton getting involved, Emma Pittman turned it over, and then a double turnover as it was knocked down by Sartor. Just landed on the half volley towards Rogers. Handball inside. Rogers again, Pepper Poltney got her hand in the way. And in the end, it was, as far as scrappy passages of play go, that was quite entertaining. McDonald and Garton's going to be a fascinating ruck contest today. That particular version ended neutrally. Faraday Hopkins bursting through the middle, found Sartor out wide. Runs wide very well, gets it further afield, just came off the fingers of McCabe, was cleaned up at the back by Jasmine Carver. Further to Liesi. The handball's just not landing in the hands. A little bit out of reach for Gabby Roberts, another ex-UQ player. Friendly fire.
Oh, and she's been called holding the ball. Oh, very unfortunate. I think she got caught because she was too busy wanting to say sorry for knocking over her teammate. Oh, got to be more ruthless, girls.
I think Ross Clayfield will be giving her anti-politeness lessons.
Yeah.
Molly Nelson, sorry, you are too polite for this game.
There's a first for everything.
She'll probably get a fine. But UQ got possession, going deep inside 50. Just one away from Elka Barnett, who's got 8 goals this year. Then through the legs, inside found Nelson. Nelson trying to make up, nothing polite. There was actually, it's gone out of bounds. Just the minus score, so 1 point apiece.
So both teams able to move it down the field pretty quickly. Just seems like there's a little bit of nerves in this one to start off with.
Well, I mean, UQ, all of their results have gone to form this year. Aspley have dropped at least 2 games that they thought they should have won. And, of course, they're aiming to be up there with Southport and Bond. Amazing attempt at a fly from Pepper Pulteney from the back. Just didn't quite time the jump correctly. Well played by McMillan. Sorry, Hannah.
No, I was just going to say, I think a couple of those matches, they probably weren't expecting, Wilson Grange, Morningside to come out as strongly as they both did.
Completely agree. Just went over the back. Vanderweel. More on her in just a second. Well cleaned up. Last week she brought up 150 games for Aspley, including juniors, as it's turned over again in midfield, taken by Harriet Gow. Deep inside 50, went past Barnett. Will be cleaned up by McDonald, who dropped back to centre half-back. Through the hands in the middle of the ground. Vetter, yet another ex-Red Lioness, wrestled on the ground well with Sammy Snowden. But yes, 150 games for Aspley for Anna Vanderweel last week, but today is her 50th senior game in the QAFLW. Some of those games were for Zilmere back in 2016, but she's been in the Aspley side for 3 years consecutively now, and today, 50 QAFLW games for Anna Vanderweel. Tallis gets it up towards Vetter. Created space, goes to right half forward, where I think she was expecting a run from a teammate that never came. It's cut off by Julia Dawson, who in turn turns it over to O'Flaherty. O'Flaherty gets space, chips it over the top, is looking for Dufty. Dufty can't get there, but it took a turn. That is an amazing outswinger from Holly O'Flaherty.
And clever work there from Dufty. It almost feels like she knew she wouldn't quite get to it. So the body work there to shepherd her opponent away from it and just see if it can roll through was really clever.
The camera angle we've got won't show it, but I'm sure that landed well to the left of goal. And then it didn't take one weird bounce, it just seemed to curve around to the right. But typical of Hannah Davies, Holly O'Flaherty does an amazing goal and you praise the ex-netballer.
Yeah, that is typical.
Duffy, I'm told, in Tasmania played a couple of years, I think it was 2021, she won football and netball grand finals on the one day.
Oh my God, I could barely play one of those sports on one day, let alone 2. That's unreal.
Barely commentate what 2 of those sports on one day. So you keep getting out of the middle and then turning it over again. O'Flaherty's on fire. Comes out to Dawson. And she's wrapped up by, I think, Jamie Bryant. So because of the clash, Aspley have an absolutely killer Indigenous jersey, and I'm told they'll wear that in the next home game. And I believe it was co-designed by Jamie Bryant, who on Instagram has an account called Jamie Bryant Art, which is well worth checking out. Lucia Liesi through the middle, going route 1. Couldn't quite get past Jessie Henning. Turned over. Oh, interesting collision. McMillan's turned 360 and Henning will win the free kick. There just seemed to be a high elbow, nothing deliberate. But I just wasn't sure whether there was a bit of a raised arm that could have been called. But Henning's free kick in the right back pocket. Turning it over well, came through Harriet Knife in the number 9 jersey.
Yeah, not often you see a player choose to play on like that coming through their defensive 50.
Got good game awareness, Knife. But you're right, it's rare, but so are Knife's skills. Just dropped by Ella McCall. Congratulations to her making her senior debut today. Been playing 3 years of resis for Aspley. It's just a little bit of wrestling, which results in a free kick to the Hornets, and indeed to the debutante McCall. There's another physically strong player. Kicks it away to Knife. And while we're talking about former clubs, she's one of about 200 players in this comp who used to play for Redland Victoria Point. Make a decent side if you reunited all of them. Well picked off by Kawa.
Yeah, great front positioning.
And switches the play well, comes out wide to Bree McKenzie. who's played a lot of senior footy, but this is her first senior game in 2 years. Tackled, turned over to Piunti. Piunti into the pocket, well marked by, I believe, Rogers.
Just great timing that was. Piunti with the little sidestep just to find that clear vision down.
Again, Rogers takes the mark and Hannah praises the ex-netballer.
I'm going to cop that all day.
Oh, it's a running gag now. No, Piunti was the star of that movement, and you're absolutely right. The footwork was tremendous, regardless of where she learned it. So Emily Rogers, 2 goals already this season. Scores a level at Base Architecture Meadows.
So both sides today just trying to stay within that top 6. As we've said, you know, UQ, they've been forced to rebuild the last few seasons, so they know what that feels like, and Ross Clayfield knows what to do with a side that looks pretty fresh each year. It'd have to by now. But Aspley in a different position than they've been, certainly you'd say since Luke Lacken came on board. Had a few player movements.
And 9 long-term injuries.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Katara Wap-Farah this year. We won't see Louise Tyson this year. Lucy Pengelly's out.
And those are all big names for the club.
Kristen Tyquin came back to Queensland from Collingwood, immediately did her ACL. Jamie Bryant did a teaching placement back in Katherine in the Northern Territory, but she's back today. Aspley win a free kick in the middle of the field. Comes out through, I believe, Waller. Brilliant tackle. Eva Sartor clung on and dislodged the ball in the process. Great work from the former Alliance academic. And then worked hard at the back of the pack from, I think it was Jersey, oh, it was Molly Nelson, through Henning. Straight up the guts of the Meadows. Out of reach of Barnett. Kawa was stumbling and still managed to get a decent handball away. Just over the head of Roberts, turned over. Well done by Erin Gilbert in the middle. Not able to connect the passes. Moyle. Just a grubber kick, lands in the mud. Liesi will clear. Being chased back by Orla Crowley. First year at UQ, having played for Maroochydore last year. Over the head of Moyle. Barnett was in a bit of space. Moyle comes in to help. I'm not sure she acted well enough there. No, she tried to do the thing where you hold onto the ball and punch the hell out of it, and got the acting wrong.
I don't mind that call. I actually thought it's a gripe of mine, is players sort of just pretending to punch the ball. You do actually have to attempt to dispose of it. But no, that's good umpiring. Jacob Severs, that was making that call, and he, of course, has designed, co-designed, the umpire's Indigenous uniform, which is called Uniting Through Footy. So it was designed by Jacob Severs, who's the AFLW Indigenous Participation Coordinator here at AFLQ, and former AFL player Ryan Hooper.
There's a good Facebook video where the two of them talk about the design of the umpire's jersey as well. It is a cracker. Strong tackle from Bryant.
And I believe Aspley, I know they don't have their Guernsey on right now, but their warm-up kit throughout the entire season does have a very lovely Indigenous motif on it. So fantastic just to see, you know, the efforts made across.
And it was co-designed by Briley Waller, who's out there at number
fantastic.
55 today. Over the top, Pepper Poltney trying to retreat. The handball back to Liesi was not quite what she wanted. Combining again. Rogers on the snap. Two goals for Emily Rogers in the first quarter. And the pressure from the UQ forwards has yielded a result. It'd be easy in that instance to criticise Pepper Poltney for handballing across goal, but two things there. Firstly, that's where the player was. Secondly, the other option was to go the other way, where she risked giving a deliberate out of bounds. So I think that really the credit has to go to the three UQ attackers who just put a whole bunch of pressure on Poltney, forced the error. McDonald with a clear tap. And on that cricket pitch area, I think this is the only ground in the competition that still hosts cricket in the summertime. And I just heard a whole bunch of men 50 and above going, yeah, that's the way it should be. In that voice.
I'll believe you on that, Daniel.
Clumsy tackle. In fact, I'm not even sure that Coco Garton meant to crash into her opponent, but Liesi will have the free kick by virtue of getting a head over the ball and then being clattered over. Went straight through the middle into a contest. Aspley's found a way forward. Goes out wide. Just not able to hold on to it was Brie McKenzie. Tapped it forward to herself, but the tackle was strong from, I think, Sartor. Sartor started this game well. Still plenty of time remaining in this first quarter. Hints of kicking in danger. It just got kicked out from underneath Katie Day's hands. Harriet Knife trying to burst through. Ended up getting a kick away and nearly got a kick into the head of Lucia Liesi as well. Liesi in the wars and probably loving it. Barnett with the tackle. Turns 360. Was just able to dispose in time. McDonald working hard on the ground. Goes back towards Poultney. Poultney was tackled by Piunti. No one with any real meaningful possession. McCall is bundled over, and there was contact over the shoulder, so McCall draws her second free kick of the quarter.
Just with the style of play of both these sides, it does end up looking a little congested. Both really love to go with the handball when possible.
Beautiful run from Maddie Tallis. You're absolutely right, as the handball between Stallard and Tallis was on cue. Tallis delivers just a little bit too deep for Katie Day. Is pushed out towards the pocket. Superb work in defence. It'll be cleared by Dawson. Maybe a little bit too centrally. Pittman has time and space. Heads towards centre half forward. And that was superbly read by Sammy Snowden. Then to Erin Gilbert, who basically didn't mean to play on. She couldn't stop her momentum and found that she'd beaten two players. And then she was so excited, she kicked it straight to Anna Vanderweel. Inside to Liesi.
Yeah, she didn't really have a lot of options to go with, really. Too fast for her own good. And that is the thing, like when you do play on that quickly, you know, you catch your opponent off guard, but sometimes you catch your own team off guard too.
Can happen as it's turned over by Garton. Some good work from O'Flaherty. She goes deep. Vanderweel will cut this off. I don't care what the weather is. Anna Vanderweel's hands are some of the cleanest in this competition. McKenzie just held it inside. Coleman, Annabelle Coleman, getting her first taste of senior football on a regular basis this year. Sartor, been excellent this first quarter. Just went through the hands of number 23, who I'm trying to identify, but I think it might be you-know-who. Comes inside to Knife. Was just tackled off it. Inside to Liesi. Aspley calls the turnover in defence. They did extremely well. Ahead of Tallis. Knocked forward by Rogers. She's on a hat-trick. Goes to centre half forward where Harriet Knife was presenting a very, very tasty target.
Got a pretty good angle here. I reckon she'd have the distance.
I mean, no desire to contradict you, Hannah Davies. Harriet Knife. Didn't quite get all of it. It was offline as well. Mark's been paid to Elka Barnett. The 50-50 contest with the first hands. And she was able to get the second. She's been told to go back fairly straight as well. Leading goal scorer for UQ this year by a street. Elka Barnett, number 1 on the back, number 9 on the board. It is UQ's quarter here at Base Architecture Meadows. All right, Davies, analyse that.
Just looked really composed, honestly. There were a couple times where I thought the players were just getting a little bit ahead of themselves. Maybe there's been a bit of direction to kind of just, you know, guns blazing, go down through the corridor. Couple turnovers that led to that, though, but so far so good.
I will say from, just to pump Aspley up a bit, their reputation is for slow starts and barnstorming finishes. And let's not forget they did get the first goal of this game. And they nearly got the first goal inside the first 30 seconds of last week's game against Bond University, where Jesse McMillan stormed out of the centre.
Yeah, I feel like they've had a couple of unusual, unforced errors as well from them. Just not the cleanest start, as you said, but like structurally everything is looking pretty good.
Good work in the middle from Hopkins, able to pump it forward. Well run onto by Piunti. Piunti finding space at will. Drives it forward to a one-on-one contest. It falls loose. Back to Rogers. Handballs outside to Piunti. Piunti brought down. Was it below the knees? It wasn't. That's an effective tackle. Ella McCall take a bow because that was a goal saver.
Yeah, Piunti's footwork nearly got away from her. Fantastic job to just drive that down hard.
Indeed, as Eva Sartor causes the turnover. Just hit hard on the chest of McCall. Hits the deck, Vanderweel. Those clean hands again. Mum had called her for dinner. She'd wash her hands 12 times before she got there. That's how clean her hands are. Brought down on the 50. What, your generation doesn't wash their hands before dinner, Hannah Davies?
I have nothing.
Ingrained in my generation's mind. You hear the word dinner, you don't head to the kitchen table, you head to the bathroom. UQ by 12. Round 6 of the Bond University QAFLW. Comes out to O'Flaherty. We know about her wheels. To the contest, goes over the back of Dawson. Being battled hard was Lanika Hollows. Wonderful story. She's been playing for the North Mackay Saints for the past 3 or 4 years. Played a grand final every year. Won at least a couple of them. I have a feeling she may have won a hat-trick up there. Either way, celebrated footballer in Mackay. But before that, played for Yeronga. Now back with Aspley. As UQ turn it around, goes to Barnett. Vanderweel, wonderful charge down, just followed the play superbly. Hit forward, went to McCabe. McCabe goes goal side. Could get the roll on, just touched through by Waller. Number 23 is Charlotte Andrews, who was named in number 6. The reason I went you-know-who is because from a distance, number 23 is Gabby Simpson's number. And I thought, don't tell me Gabby's back.
No, she's in New Zealand right now, actually,
Thank
Daniel. She's playing for the Pulse in the ANZ Premiership.
I forgot that you had the ankle tracker on
In case you needed the full story.
Appreciate it. Jesse McMillan as Aspley plays out through the middle. Too good, just passing marks. Couple of dummies. Has to go to a contest, looking for Lucy Thompson, who's been in wonderful goal-scoring form. Turns out she was the full forward the whole time. The clock will beat them. But it's been UQ's quarter. 3-2-20, leading the Aspley Hornets 1-1-7. We hope you're enjoying Bond University QAFLW action here on the official AFLQ YouTube channel.
Did you know Bond students have been in every Olympics since '92? How do they do it? Bond is known for its prowess in the sporting domain. With incredible facilities throughout campus, it means you can easily transition from this to this. Sport is alive and well at Bond University.
drive this home.
Well, I'll ask you to expand on that in a moment, because I mean, they have certainly connected very well. They've used the width of the field. This is by far the smallest field in the competition, and so it can. I mean, when they had their premiership sides, they were the best on every field. But with this one, there is a different way of playing, because you can get that slingshot out really quickly by switching the play. And Jazzy Carr has tried to do that a couple of times for Aspley, but I feel that UQ have probably done that a bit more successfully. But yeah, I'm interested in the ways that you think UQ can sort of tidy a few things up and go up a level.
I think that's what I'm referring to. I think it's more about the tempo. So I'm loving when they're taking on the game and going quickly. I think there's been one or two times, though, where I would slow it down. And I would, I think there was a player over the far side who just went a little bit quickly and ended up getting the ball smothered. Just a couple of those times where maybe you take that extra second. Because I think that Aspley as well, like structurally looking pretty good, as we said, but just not the cleanest of hands yet.
Apart from Anna Vanderweel, of course.
Apart from that.
That's right.
Of course.
Just to recap the goal scorers, for the University of Queensland, 2 goals to Emily Rogers, 1 to Elka Barnett, and for Aspley it was Holly O'Flaherty. So second quarter at Base Architecture Meadows. First time here in the Bond University QAFLW this year. Not entirely sure how Garton got that up to herself, but it looked fantastic. Got it through to Molly Nelson, who had her moments in the first quarter. Dropped by Ashley Moyle. Trickles inside 50, but they'll be lucky to get a possession, and they don't. Olivia Hunt just pulled over as she was about to pull the trigger. Handballed further afield up towards Liesi. It's well cut off in the middle by Garton. Apologies, not Garton. That was Annalise Neary, who's gone up a level this year, along with Harriet Gow. Beautiful hands in the middle from Maddie Tallis, or to Maddie Tallis, rather. But Aspley starting to look like themselves. Back inside from Stellard to O'Flaherty. She ran a long way, O'Flaherty. It's gone to the right, dropped mark in the goal square. Vetter trying to find space, can't find it. It's knocked loose, somehow gets it back. They've done enough, UQ. And out towards Hargraves at left halfback. And that, I feel, is the story of Aspley's season in miniature. Beautiful play, and then because of their passing chains, it only takes one little link to be broken, and it all comes undone. Having said that, they're back inside 50. UQ not able to clear. They're still about 30 out from their own goal. And that is exactly how you pretend to punch.
Yeah, you really can see that though, Daniel. Like, you get glimpses of why they were that grand final side just a couple of years ago. But it's just not all quite linking, as you said.
High contact, UQ with a chance to get out of trouble. Here's the thing, though. The top 2 sides in this competition, Southport and Bond University, they do play that high-tempo handball game in any weather, in any conditions. They'd probably do it in snow as Henning comes out. And Aspley have ambitions, realistic ambitions, to get to that level. And I feel they're taking a short-term hit for long-term gain. Barnett wasn't in space because it was shut down by Gabby Roberts. Went back from Andrews. Sartor to the edge of the 50. Just over the head of Vanderweel. That was almost harder to land in space than not. Pittman was clattered. Possibly unlucky not to get a free kick, but she does have possession. McMillan finds Liesi in the middle of the park. The counter is on from Aspley. Going wide. Just goes through the hands of Hunt. Forward to Stallard. That's 6 successful handballs in a row. Stallard onto the boot. Stallard over the head of Vetter. That is brilliant from Stallard, but more importantly, it was brilliant from Aspley from end to end. I stunned them.
I feel like as soon as we started saying where Aspley could improve, they just went out there and proved us completely wrong.
What a beautiful goal. I mean, it's a goal of the year nomination. To me, that's actually better than one player just kicking a goal from distance, because you had, it must have been 6 or 7 handballs from half back to right half forward.
The spatial awareness moving down the field was perfect. Like, it wasn't just putting it on the boot anywhere, it was really intentional, as we've just got a holding call.
As we play the ancient game of get the free kick to the right player.
Yeah, that was generous. I mean, isn't the rule now if you catch the wrong player, it's a 50? Maybe not this level. I could be wrong, not an umpire.
Oh, more on that in a moment, as Knife just lost possession, gave it to Liesi, and Aspley are away. It is given at this level, but I think in that occasion, as it goes forward to McMillan, more on that in a moment. McMillan chips over the top. One-on-one contest, beautifully attacked by Camilla Satchisiv from the back. Follows it through, puts pressure on the next play. What a good acquisition from Yeronga Sheesbin. Aspley regains throw Flaherty just outside the 50. Comes all the way back to Hunt, looking for space. Is given a shepherd by Hollows. Hunt from a long way out. Misses to the right. So just to answer the question in full, at this level, yes, if you throw the ball back to the wrong player. However, in this case, the wrong player was standing exactly where you would think the free kick was, whereas the right player was 20 metres away. And I think the umpire recognised that and thought, OK, that's exceptional circumstances. So I'm happy with that.
Fair enough. Thank you for the explanation, though, Daniel.
I need to make them shorter. My explanations are long. As Henning's kick is semi-charged down. Kicked off the ground by Hollows. Comes back to Vetter. Looking for space. Doesn't get a clean kick away. Henning gets a clean left foot kick away. Doesn't land out on the full, but it's turned over to Hunt. This is Aspley's best period of the match by some distance. Dufty inside 50. Stallard went from the back. Rolls through. Beats everyone. And well cleared from the back. Might have been Snowden. Piunti trying to regather just on her own 50. Got it back to Knife. Knife stepped well. The kick wasn't that good. Turned out all right. Brilliant fend from, I think, Hopkins. Straight through the middle to a one-on-one battle. Pittman seems to have it covered. And the two-on-one worked well. Came back to Pittman. Some wonderful stepping. Was turned 360. I think the umpire was undecided as to whether the fist got onto the ball. Was put through by Gilbert. Charged down. Kawa trying to fend her way out of trouble. Did pretty well. Knife loses control. And then Andrews will be tied up probably 60 metres from goal. Hasn't this game picked up gone from 0 to 60?
It absolutely has.
It was never at 0, but... Yeah.
I think they're just really evenly matched as well, which is what makes this so exciting.
Knife. Into the pocket. Not sure that's where it was meant to go, but it worked out all right. Just going without it was McCabe. Trying to clear the hands from Day. Just not quite effective, but then was able to lay the tackle on Sator, who's been Little Miss everywhere today. That came out patronising. I didn't mean it like that.
No, I agree.
I meant the Little Miss bit.
Okay.
Gilbert up towards the hot spot, but well taken under pressure from Emma Pittman, who did play a year at UQ back in 2016. Cooperoo before and after that, and then Aspley for a good few years now. Playing it out from defence. Good attempt at cutting it off from Snowden. And then belted back in towards the one-on-one. Rogers, not able to come down with it. Sniping was Barnett. Got boot to ball. It's well away to the right. Stays inside the field of play. Vanderweel tried to knock it back inside. Barnett followed through. Comes back out to Gilbert. Tries to fend. Tried too much. Liesi, not paid the free kick, but will get a chance to thump it clear. Just went over the head of Gow. Tallis. Tallis away, looking forward for McKenzie. Apologies, Hollows. McMillan was pointing one way, went back the other. It may work out well for her. Tracking back was Neary. McMillan knocks it back into the centre, finds a bit of space, handballs to Hollows. Lanika Hollows misses to the right. And in fact goes out on the full, no points. What a comeback to the QAFLW that would have been.
Oh, it would have been incredible. And up until that point, that all looked fantastic. Just a shame the final snap couldn't pay off.
The old Aspley's just poking its head up, isn't it? Turned over to Kawa, who's been poking her head up all season. She's probably been Aspley's best in a difficult year so far. Goes into the pocket because she saw Thompson unmarked. Lucy Thompson will have a set shot and Hannah Davies gets excited.
Yeah, the defender hands, like, just so clean. And you know what, in footy, I feel like there's been this resurgence of putting defenders in forward positions because they just have that ability to read the ball really well and the clean hands. Like, I'm loving it.
They probably know all the tricks that the opposition defenders are trying on them as well.
Absolutely.
So Lucy Thompson, 3 goals so far this season. Distance not a problem, neither is accuracy. We are all square at Base Architecture Meadows. And Hannah Davies' season is complete.
No, what a great move from Luke Lacken to put Thompson in forward, though. I think she's really looking natural in that position. And I feel like she's almost like an underestimated player. You know, watching her stream down the field, I feel like no one really has probably tagged her hard enough as they should.
But when you've got Jess Stallard there, you can't put a tag on everyone.
true.
At some point, you've got to protect the zone. Which may be something that opponents of St Kilda are about to find out this year, because if they tag Jessie Wardlaw, they might find Lilu Hung.
How exciting. So exciting. Recently was signed as an injury replacement.
For the St Kilda Saints. It's worth noting, actually more on that in a moment, because Aspley are inside 50 almost again. In fact, that will happen now. Kawa, with their apparently weaker left foot, it's not. Up towards Hollows, tries to create some space for herself. Inside towards Pittman, who's getting forward a lot more today, and they've caused a stoppage 30 out. For the first 4 rounds of last year, do you know who one of St Kilda's assistant coaches was?
Tell me.
Luke Lacken.
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, you're right. Actually, yeah, I got the chance to talk to him at one of the games. How could I forget that?
UQ being able to get a free kick. Sorry, Hannah, to interrupt. But,
no, just praising St Kilda right now, which feels wrong, actually. We should stop that.
UQ clearing out to the near side. That's a good mark taken, and more importantly, good positioning from Ashley Moyle. I've rated highly for a few years now. The breakout is coming. McCall, superbly positioned. Back inside to Jasmine Kawa. Look at the space. 3 players out. Olivia Hunter, she can keep this in the field of play, which she does. They had the overlap. The bounce wasn't kind. Back inside to Day. Day looking for the one-on-one. McMillan.
What a perfect delivery as well. And the positioning. Feel like UQ have just gone to sleep a little bit here.
I disagree. I think Aspley has simply started to play at a pace successfully that UQ hasn't been able to match as yet, which is something that every other team in the competition, including Southport and Bond, have found out over the last 2 years. Jessie McMillan hugging the left post, gets the swing beautifully. She's excited. And that is Jessie McMillan's first goal for Aspley, following 11 from Maroochydore.
Well, you're right, Daniel. I feel like I have to rephrase it. Aspley have just woken up. Because it just didn't look this exciting, I have to say, from them. The speed, the precision has just completely changed in this second term.
I'm trying to think, you may have an opinion on this, that whether, I don't think they've changed how they're trying to play, they're just doing it better, and that can come from belief, it can come from just getting a quarter to get the rust out.
I do feel like the intensity has gone up, though, as we're just having a call made.
Yeah, 5-6. UQ got their interchange wrong, and so they didn't have the players in the right zones. Henning's been moved into the ruck, won the ruck, lost the footing. Through the middle, Knife to a one-on-one, looking for Barnett. That was an important touch from Vanderweel, who then gets the ball back from Pittman. Vanderweel attacked that so brilliantly. I think she only got half a fist on it, and yet it was able to come out wide. Then played the 1-2 with Katie Day at right halfback. Turned over. Through the middle went Rogers. Rogers turning it in. Aspley had the numbers back. Well done by McCall. Got the handball away, but it's turned over to Barnett. Comes all the way back to Rogers. Thought about the pass, maybe should have shot straight away. Sato brought down. Where were the hands? They were below the shoulder. Brilliant run-down tackle.
Just a bit of panic from UQ there. I thought they had at least 2 moments to really have a crack at that goal. It almost seemed like no one wanted to take the moment, though. Just wanting to give the hands off.
I think, look, first of all, that is exactly how it looked from here. I do wonder whether Emily Rogers looked ahead of her, and even though it looked like she had space to us, from her point of view, there were simply 2 or 3 lines in front of her.
Yeah, potentially.
But as commentators, our job is to know everything and to have been perfect in our past, so we'll keep laying it on thick. As Katie Day's brought to ground, that'll be another ball up, no prior. Strong tackle from Molly Nelson in the 22 jersey. Pulteney taking her turn in the ruck, beaten by Henning. Katie Day is touched in flight. Liesi plays on cleverly. Genuine 2-footed player. Not one of her better left foot kicks, gives away the lasso, but she has a thumping left foot kick. So UQ with a chance to hit back. McCabe was on the lead. Piunti was the smallest player in that pack and still came up with it. Switches the players, looking for Barnett in the centre of the field. It has left a big gap. Beautiful step from Barnett. Looking on the lead for Rogers, finds her. Looking forward for McCabe, it was cut off. The target was stationary, Emma McDonald was not, and she was able to affect the play. And that's the difference between being in space and leading into space.
Yeah, you're right. You almost feel like she needed to run onto it and then hope that someone will switch around behind her. But you're almost never going to win just standing still, unfortunately.
Yeah, the only part of footy that works when you're standing still is commentary.
Yeah, very true.
Cut off in the middle of the field by Hopkins. She goes left, lands in space. Was possibly expecting a run onto it that time from Gow. Barnett, she's been everywhere. Got boot to ball. Vanderweel again. Kicked it into Piunti. Given Piunti's lack of size, it was almost harder to kick it into her.
I know, one of the smallest players out there put her body on the line. Managed to find her.
I think 90% of her is muscle.
Completely agree. She's come into the game of footy really nicely, though. I think this season, you know, obviously got the chance to watch her last season, but I really feel like things are looking a lot more natural. The connections for UQ just looking great.
It's been a high-quality game so far as the gang tackling from Aspley was effective. Kawa tried to burrow through traffic, very nearly succeeded. Ball hasn't really got anywhere, and so the umpire, in the form of Jess Cunning, will say, no, give me a chance. Garton over the top, steaming onto it was, I think, Barnett. It wasn't, it was Piunti again. I really should have known. McMillan with a dinky kick out the side, run onto by Kawa. Beautifully tackled by Sartor. Sartor wins the chance for a shot at goal. Be on the edge of her range, and she knew that. Was looking inside for the run of Moyle. Didn't really go anywhere. It's been called a free kick. Liesi will have it. Moyle not happy, but her team still has field position. Stallard coming back a long way. Began as a defender with UQ, but didn't last long. She did a Lucy Thompson before Lucy Thompson did. Thompson handball to Tallis. Tallis found a hard piece of ground and had a bounce. Not an effective kick, but it may work out all right. Turned over. It was beautiful work at the back from Coleman. They haven't quite cleared it though, UQ. It's been turned over to McMillan. She gets some kind of shot away. It's just run through. It's probably missing to the right anyway. There's Hopkins, who's played a bit of fullback for the Lions Academy. Just saw it through out of danger.
Good result from UQ. Yet to score this term, but Aspley, 3 goals in the 1 quarter. Nearly made it 4.
And now with a lead that's one greater than a multiple of 6, which neither side had managed to this point. Sartor broke away from congestion. Over the top was looking for Barnett. Pittman came the other way. Pittman inside 50. Thompson took it at the top of her reach. Satchisiv got there too late. Day on her bike. She didn't have as much space as she thought she did. That'll go through for a minor score. Aspley 28, UQ 20. And the quarter-time score was 7-20.
Probably not bad to have those 2 minors in the context of this game.
Agreed.
But a fantastic play from Lucy Thompson. If we had a replay, I'd be replaying that because that was just beautiful. The clean hands followed up by a very precise kick inside.
Well, you've got a video editor and an Instagram account. Hannah, get to it.
This is true.
Dufty with the handball out of traffic. Will be turned out of play, out of the 50 rather. Mackenzie chasing hard. That's a lovely bit of handwork from Charlotte Andrews. Go and praise the ex-netballer, Hannah. That's your cue. Tackled to ground by Bryant. But that was a classic centres block, or maybe a wing defences block.
Yeah, yep, I'll take it. I appreciate the effort.
I know my nip. I was following the Firebirds before you were born, Hannah Davies.
Yeah, this is true.
Yes, long before there was Laura Geitz, I was admiring the work of Mel McKenzie at fullback for the goalkeeper for the Firebirds. And then a similar colour, the University of Queensland Red Lionesses, who had the lead, lost it, and now deep inside their own 50. Thompson tried to get the handball over the top to Day. Day was just pulled off at the vital moment legally, but it will be a stoppage in the goal square. Dangerous moment in this match. Look at the crowd. You could pretty much take two team photos by who's in the goal square right now. Knocked out towards Day. Couldn't get clean hands. Needed Anna van der Weel. Tallis on the snap. Out on the full.
So we head into half-time. The away side, the Aspley Hornets. What a comeback in that term. Now they lead 28-20. Well, UQ, they've got some work to do to build this back up. They had a fantastic first term. Can they bring back that energy? We'll be back after the halftime break.
Inside this building is a simulated hospital ward, a high-tech biomechanics lab, a commercial kitchen, and a whole virtual home. Let's explore the new Bond Institute of Health and Sport in just 61 seconds. This is the 12-bed simulation hospital ward. From day one, Bond students gain hands-on experience in allied health and exercise science. This is the Work-Play Lab, which gives students the opportunity to provide occupational therapy for our youngest, while the Activities of Daily Living Lab simulates a full home environment, giving students the chance to practice mobility work with our wisest. From sprinting to golf swings, this track can track it. Using pressure sensors and high-speed cameras, it can analyze anything from age-related conditions to elite sports training. Wow. The Kitchen Lab has solar-powered sustainable cooking stations, giving postgrad nutrition and dietetic students access to commercial-grade equipment.
Thank you.
Why don't you come and check out the Bond Institute of Health and Sport for yourself? Did you know Bond students have been in every Olympics since '92? How do they do it? I've got 61 seconds to race you through the life of a student in the Bond Elite Sport program. Strap in. Bond is known for its prowess in the sporting domain, supporting student athletes like Mia. Student athletes have access to flexible study loads, adjusted academic requirements, and tutoring. The top tier of student athletes even receive funding to assist with their travel and competition costs. Bond also runs 4 high-performance sporting programs that field competitive teams. There's netball, rugby, AFL, and swimming. With incredible facilities throughout campus, it means you can easily transition from this to this. Whether it's producing world-class athletes or offering scholarships to high-achieving students every single year, sport is alive and well at Bond University.
Welcome back to Base Architecture Meadows at UQ. We're on Jagera and Turrbal land for round 6 of the Bond University QAFLW. And in case you're just joining us for the second half, it is Sir Doug Nicholls round, so we're acknowledging and celebrating the contributions of First Nations peoples to the game of Australian rules. Not only what these athletes have done for the game on the field, but as leaders, game changers within the sport for decades, dating back to its very existence. So we're very proud to be celebrating this round alongside the AFL for the men's senior competition there as well. It's been a fantastic match so far, though. Aspley Hornets with a hell of a comeback in that second term, Daniel. Started off a little slow, and I'll give you credit. You said it. They don't start well. So, what did you see from that term? What changed?
What changed was simply the success with which they were executing their game plan. I think in terms of what they were trying to do, I didn't see much change at all between the first half and the second half. But when you are able to gather the ball cleanly, you suddenly have a second in which to dispose of it better that you didn't have before. And that's what they were able to do. To their credit, UQ, they never gave up, because in the first half they cut off a lot of goals because they might have been a second behind the play, but then the fumble came, and so they were able to get back into it. They kept doing that in the second half, just the opportunities didn't present themselves as often.
Yeah, it's very true, and a bit of insight I do have on Aspley that I don't have on UQ, so I can't speak on their part, but I do know that fitness is a huge thing for Aspley. So, I feel like we do tend to see Aspley really push themselves throughout the entire match to uphold that intensity.
Well, you'll get an answer in real time over the next 40 minutes or so. As the ball is able to be broken free from the centre, it's Aspley who get the first inside 50. 2-0 Flaherty was in a lot of space, goes towards Vetter, hits the ground, not able to grab onto the mark, just the 1-on-2 didn't quite work in her favour. But they do have possession in the pocket as Hollows was trying to reef the ball away from Dawson.
What a clearance, though. That has got to be one of the best I've ever seen.
I would have said the same, except they did it from the opening bounce last week against Bond, pretty much identically. Knocked back inside by Stallard. Came off Knife. Knife doubled back around well and was escorted over the paint by Day. Good knock over the top by McMillan. Back to Hollows. Was tackled well by Dawson. Kick went sideways. Moyle tried to affect the Shepherd. Knife found a way out, dropping on the head of Sartor. Came back to the stepping Snowden. Snowden, who this time last year was playing for Stuart Home, or as Hannah calls them, the enemy.
Do I?
Well, you used to work at Girls Grammar, so...
Right. I went to a public school, so I can't make any statements on schoolgirls footy.
That's okay. My attempts to engineer class warfare in the Bond University QAFLW have been thus far unsuccessful, but hey, I'll keep trying. Ball up. Henning beaten out by Pulteney. The ruck options Aspley has this year, where Emma McDonald usually starts in the ruck, but then you've got Pepper Pulteney, who I think had the second highest number of hitouts in the comp last year as Yeronga ruck. Wins that ruck as well. Left footer from Sartor. Heading dangerously close to the boundary, but it will be taken well by Nelson. Didn't find a way through, however. Was brought down by, I believe it's Tallis, just behind the umpire. It wasn't, I think it was McMillan. It's probably wrong twice. Let's get on with it. Hits the deck. Out from Dawson, well snaffled by Hargraves. And then taken out of play by, I think, Hopkins. Out of the 50, rather. Into a lot of space. Hargraves chasing. Waller chasing. Barnett gets there first. Everyone hits the deck. Hargraves at the back. Finds a way through. Tallis and Barnett both slip over. And then eventually kicks to Jazz Kawa, who was looking straight into this big yellow thing in the sky. Handballs inside to Liesi. Liesi goes deep inside 50. It's a 3-on-2. And it's the 2 that wins it, because it was beautifully taken at the back by Annabelle Coleman, who then turned it over. It looked good up until that point as Vanderweel, in her 50th QAFLW game, just had her kick knocked out of the way by Sartor, who's been superb today. Charged down by Day. Sartor trying to break free. She won't.
Just a bit of a fun fact here, Daniel, in case you needed more evidence that Gabby Simpson could not be playing for UQ, I've just been told she's actually currently playing in New Zealand. So
On court at the same time.
the spirit of Gabby lives on at UQ, but she is currently playing.
No, very blessed to have had her in the competition for a brief point, and the footy career is probably not over.
No, I'd say not.
But we'll deal with the 42 who are actually playing this game at the moment, rather than obsessing over one who's not. We're back on the cricket pitches. Just handed back to the umpire. It's by Nelson, who's been good. Henning through the middle. Goes to a 2-on-2. Went through the hands of Nelson. Being chased by Andrews. Andrews just slips off the tackle from Gabby Roberts. And Roberts has done well to make her way outside of 50. Off the fingers of Hargraves. Hargraves, a lot of speed. Got it back to Snowden. Snowden's brought to ground. That's holding.
Yeah, great work there by Tallis.
She was good last year, Maddie Tallis, in her first year of senior age footy, but she's definitely taken another step up this year. Was looking for Stallard out on the wing. So being chased by Satchisiv, who takes it over the boundary. Satchisiv, when she was at Yeronga, Camilla Burnett for long time watchers, that was her former name, but married to Maddie Satchisiv over the off-season. Congratulations. Actually, it was during last season. That's not the important point.
Yeah, another one that moved on from Yeronga. Quite the exodus there. A lot of players moving around the grounds. A couple in this side, I think, from Yeronga.
There are. Emily Rogers has certainly played at Yeronga. Faraday Hopkins in the number 18 jerseys come over as well. And, of course, Pulteney, right on cue, who went from Yeronga to Aspley. No prior opportunity to take it. Tallis kicks it out on the full, but it would have been a lasso anyway. And so the free kick will come back to Erin Gilbert. Gilbert threaded the needle to Hopkins, who scored with a 50-metre free kick last year, and she shows us that the length of her kick is not lessened now that she's playing on this side of the river. Kicks it to Pittman, switches the play, not all that successfully. They need to be clean in front of goal. Comes back to Barnett. Barnett gets some space. Elka Barnett! Gap reduced to 2.
Fantastic play there from UQ. Just risky from Aspley, trying to make the switch, couldn't pull it off. And Elka Barnett, she's had a cracking game today.
Now, first of all, credit to UQ for putting monstrous pressure on the Aspley defence. That kind of error, and I think I'm right in saying that 2 goals by UQ have been scored because of that forward pressure. That's the effect of injuries in your back line, where you're still second-guessing about where your teammates are going to be, where you expect to find them. When you can get half a season in a row where you're all playing together, the instincts take over. Gilbert played an important role early in that passing chain that led to the last goal. And then a strong tackle from Hopkins. There's Day, usually named in the forwards, but will play on the ball for long periods. Very versatile player. Played for, I think this is her 4th club now in the QAFLW for Katie Day. Mondufty in the ruck. Garton came from a long way back. Hopkins weaved through traffic, got a high kick away. Looking for the one-on-one. McDonald went for the volleyball. Suppose it worked because it ended up with her captain in Pittman. O'Flaherty brought to ground and a strong tackle from Snowden. Been watching Snowden on the official AFLQ YouTube channel replays this year, but this is the first chance I've seen her in person, and I'm impressed. She is a quality defender at the age of 18, I think. Strong tackle from Tallis. And apart from the school connection, she played for Wests Juniors, which is now the affiliate junior club of UQ, for several years. Knife got it through to Snowden. Through the middle, just rolls underneath McDonald, who recovered extremely well. And then goes the good old pretend punch.
Our favourite.
There's a video montage in that, isn't there?
Probably.
Great pretend disposals of the Bond University QAFLW. Out now wherever good videos were once sold. Moving it forward, strong tackle from Hargraves, just didn't quite stop the possession. Moyle flung to ground, not deemed a dangerous tackle. And Camilla Sachasev asks why.
Yeah, I thought it may have been a sling. I think she lessened the intensity of the sling just as she brought her down.
I think you're right.
Smart and, you know, the right decision from a player safety perspective. Obviously, concussion has been a very topical thing in the AFL world as of recent. So great to see that the athletes out here are aware of it all.
Aware of it being protected. And look, I don't mention names on air, and I'm not about to, but, you know, forced retirements through concussions have happened in this competition. There may be players who have been favourites of yours. I'm talking to you watching this game who you haven't seen for a while, and it's possible as players. Pittman was clean bowled, gets it back to Liesi. But yeah, there are a few players of high quality. That's a beautiful mark. And that was Pulteney. It wasn't, it was Hunt. Apologies. Carr wrapped up. It takes two to bring it down at the best of times, and that's what it takes here.
Speaking of player safety, though, something I did love last week, though, we had Tyler Hickson, one of the umpires, was talking to him after the game and just said the umps noticed that it was getting a little bit too physical and they just wanted to, I think there was a 50 call, which was warranted anyway. But, you know, just ensuring that the players do know, like, you can't take it too far. You do need to stay within the rules of the game. So great to know, like, it's a given, but, you know, the umps are very aware of that kind of stuff and are trying to make it as safe as possible for everyone out there.
They take their role just as seriously, if not more so, than everyone else, the umpires in this competition. It's Jess Cunning balls it up. Scrappy passage of play at the moment, which is why we've got the luxury of talking about matters surrounding the game at the moment, but moving laterally, not really longitudinally. Garton with a big slap from the back, but it came down to Kawa, who's been almighty today. Back to Liesi. That Kawa-Liesi combination. And downtown free kick. Liesi was taken out after she kicked the ball. So the free kick taken by McMillan. Inside, just wrong-footed Kawa. Got the handball back. A little bit messy from Aspley in the middle, but they recover well today. Goes inside 50. Thompson was on the lead. Couldn't quite get it, was Hollows. Back to McKenzie. If it's not out in the full, that's actually not a bad little touch finder. A rare boundary throw-in the context of the modern, well, women's Australian rules, really.
Yeah, certainly, with the lasso rule.
And while it's very wet and the ball is slippery, at least the boundary umpires aren't trying to throw it into a cyclone this week.
Oh, yeah, last week was certainly made things difficult, didn't it?
So the ball landed in space. Good work on the ground from Day. Broke the tackle of Henning, got a shot away. Thompson chasing. The boundary line beats them all. That's the skill of Katie Day in miniature. First of all, just slick hand skills, but secondly, the physical strength of the woman. Won Collingwood's VFLW Best and Fairest last year and then upgraded back to the Queensland competition. Loose ball is tied up as Crowley was the last to have hold of it, tackled by Thompson. Still plenty of time left in this third term. It's been the tightest term of the match. Sachasev pulled to ground without the ball. Ends up with Day on the ground. He was trying to punch the ball into the ground. Got it to Stallard. There was an ancient game in Ireland where the whole team played, and the idea was you had to push the ball to the other end of the town to score. That's what that last passage of play looked like. Out the back towards Hargraves. Brought down in a good tackle. Garton over the top. She had no prior opportunity, so it'll just be a ball up. This is a bit more like last week's game between Cooper and Morningside, where the defences are just cancelling each other out. And there's a lot less space. Katie Day's getting involved. That's probably about the fourth time she's roved the ball and then shaped for a shot.
Yeah, just a lot of numbers around it as well. I feel like a few plays ago it was a lot clearer, but pretty much every ball there's 2-3 players at it.
I love how you predicted that play and then ended up commentating it live.
And there's another one. So how do they break through this? Or is it just quite literally what you said, where we just slowly move it closer and closer to the goals and hope?
You're almost waiting for your opponents to make a mistake. You just keep playing at the high level, trying to move the ball wide, and eventually there'll be one where your opponent slips off a tackle, or it just gets knocked free a little bit. So Aspley had possession, but UQ's got the territory. Make up your own mind who has the better of it. Held off the ball, Aspley with a chance to get back on the attack. The coaching staff for UQ exhorting their players to retreat into defence, to match up. Inside 50, important touch from Crowley. Clears laterally, was looking for Snowden, didn't quite get to her. Clumsy-ish tackle, but Aspley retained possession. Gets in the way again to Snowden. Hunt was circling, as was McCall. Through the legs of Snowden. The triple effort from Snowden's been impressive. Hargraves has been almighty today. Love to see her GPS stats at the end of it. More on that because UQ basically published those. Stallard tipped it forward. Beautiful tackle from Henning. Not as spectacular as her tackle on, might have been Darcy Davis in the 2022 grand final where she brought it down in front of goal, but Henning has a fair old scrapbook for that sort of thing. Day near the boundary, being tracked by Hargraves. I think the last time those two would have played against each other, Day would have been playing for Wilston Grange and Hargraves for Cooperoo. There's black and white footage of that somewhere. Dufty in the ruck, knocked it forward to O'Flaherty, went for the soccer off the ground, kicked over the ball. Moyle on the ground. Did she drag that back in? Not according to the umpire. I thought she just lost control of the ball and then grabbed hold of it so she could continue to pretend punch.
That's also how I saw it, Daniel.
Thank you. It's Day centering the kick. Henning with the touch. Away from Stallard. McMillan, tackled by Sartor, broke the tackle. Got a shin to the ball. Cleared by Dawson. Comes out towards left halfback. Being chased by Piunti. Spun away from her. Beautiful tackle on Hunt by Elka Barnett.
What a game Elka is having. I mean, defensively, offensively, she's just been completely on song today.
Almost a commentator's curse. Just got the hand to it. Away to O'Flaherty. O'Flaherty can score from here. Probably not with that kick. Goes through the defence. Thompson chasing hard. Keeps it inside the boundary. Handball's in front of the goal. Good tackle from Stallard. Day tries to tackle, handball, through the midriff of Henning. It didn't work. Oh, just a hint of there was a grimace from the player on the ground. She's been pinged for holding, so Henning wins the free kick. That was just a 50-metre penalty. I have a feeling Stallard may have just had a cheeky word on the way past. I hope I haven't done her over. But Henning has a chance to step out of the 50, which has been doing more in recent seasons. Henning's been moved out of that fullback role that she owned for so long.
It was just a clunky play from Aspley, you know, diving on the ball. The same thing, dragging it into yourself to do the pretend punch. Yeah.
Inside 50 for UQ for the first time in a while. Goes to Pittman, who clears it out straight away, but straight down the throat of Neary. The other factor in this game is you'll notice the players for Aspley shielding their eyes a lot. This is an east-west facing ground, and I'm sure that also affected Harriet Knife just then. Because with the 2 o'clock start, which is great for women's footy, by the way, I'm not knocking that, but it does mean the players looking to the right of your screen are looking into the sun. O'Flaherty. Back to Dufty. Holding.
Just off the ball as well. Ashley Moyle just clutching her face a little bit.
Okay.
Thought maybe there was something going on there, but looks like she's bounced back.
It's pretty tough, is Moyle. McCall brought down. Strong, strong tackle. And that's Harriet Gow. And the ball was rolled back along the ground towards Gow, and she will have an after the siren shot. So the free kick was awarded about, I'm going to say 20 metres outside the 50. So now it'll be 20 metres outside goal. And it's Faraday Hopkins, who is hobbling. Well, as I said, she's kicked a set shot from 50 in this competition, but what's the effect of the injury? So Faraday Hopkins, the lead is on the line. The lead has been taken. This is a fascinating match at Base Architecture Meadows. UQ 5-2-32 lead Aspley 4-4-28 at the three-quarter time break here at Base Architecture Meadows. Don't you dare go anywhere. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Did you know Bond students have been in every Olympics since '92? How do they do it? Bond is known for its prowess in the sporting domain. With incredible facilities throughout campus, it means you can easily transition from this to this. Sport is alive and well at Bond University.
Just one term to go in this arm wrestle between the Aspley Hornets and University of Queensland. The home side turning the game on its head once again. Now lead 5-32 to Aspley 4-4-28. You can see the final huddle there. This game means a lot to both sides. Both teams sitting in that lower middle of the ladder. UQ in 6th place and Aspley in 7th. So this one for UQ really important for them to stay in touch of that top 6. But Aspley had a huge second quarter, but UQ then just came bouncing back again.
I'll just quickly go through the goal scorers for this game. So for UQ, it's 2 to Emily Rogers, 2 to Elka Barnett, and 1 to Faraday Hopkins, which is the one just on the siren before. For Aspley, all singles to Holly O'Flaherty, Jess Stallard, Lucy Thompson, and Jessie McMillan. But this game just keeps on giving.
Well, interesting to note, Daniel, is that UQ didn't score at all in the second term, and then Aspley didn't score at all in the third, if I'm correct.
The wind here is negligible, but only 1 goal has been scored to our right. All the others have been to our left. Aspley get the ball out of the middle at the beginning of the 4th term. Olivia Hunt was stepping through defence. Just went through the hands of Tallis. Up towards Kawa, who seems to be moved forward. Broke the tackle. Getting the kick towards Vetter. Played at this club for years, up until from 2017 to 2021. Won a premiership here in 2021, then went to Aspley and immediately won her first ever leading goal kicker award. She has 95 goals in this competition. Not with that kick. Touched through by Henning, but it was well off target anyway. Gap reduced to 3. Every point important. And once again, Aspley find a way of turning the opening ball up of the quarter into a scoring opportunity. There are worse habits. Henning comes wide, through the hands of Kawa. Well played by, I believe, Barnett, the distinctive blue ribbon. Inside to McCabe.
Yeah, if each player could actually wear a distinct, different coloured ribbon, that would be really appreciated. Just throwing that out there.
No. Look, I'm with you, but I'm glad that you said it first. I feel that would hit different coming from me.
It would.
Kawa is now playing in the middle. Bit of a moon ball. Hits the deck and we have a leg break. Just knocked out by Snowden. Turned over to Waller. Through the middle, again turned over. Through Hopkins. Down the throat of McDonald. Switches the play. Just hit the top of the boot. Well picked up on the half volley by clean hands Anna Vanderweel. Just a hint of her being taken out after the kick, but play's been allowed to continue, so it's on Aspley's forward 50. Good use of the body from Snowden. She bumped off Katie Day, was then slung around 360, but had no prior opportunity. Not how the umpire saw it. Apologies. Katie Day has the free kick. Goes towards the pocket. McMillan! Twisting the body in midair. I'm starting to wonder whether the main reason why all the goals are to the left is because you're not looking into the sun. Jessie McMillan. Distance okay. Direction perfect. It's another lead change. What are we watching here at the Meadows?
Well, they've handed UQ the challenge now. Feels like it's been a real ebb and flow. Like each side has kind of had their term to get the lead and kick a couple goals, but it hasn't yet been that consistent quarter of both teams back and forth. Obviously, there's no more time now for UQ, so they don't have another term to wait to bring back the lead. It has to be now. But yeah, as you said, Daniel, I don't know what it is about that right-hand side, but neither team today has really made much of an effort there.
Much of an impact.
An impact.
Yeah,
that's the word I was looking for.
I knew that wasn't the word you meant. So,
couldn't think of it.
What I will say, though, is that was kicking in danger. No, it was holding off the ball. So the free kick will come back to the goal scorer, McMillan. We've given up trying to pick 3-2-1s in the com box here for reasons that are increasingly apparent. Well picked up by O'Flaherty. She chooses to play on. She's had about 3 goes at this today, kicking from distance. That one she was trying to set up Katie Day. Didn't quite work. They've turned it over. Now this will be an interesting call. Could that be called deliberate?
I think is that out in the full?
It was out on the full,
Yeah.
yes.
Good call.
Waller. Hollows, apologies. Towards the hot spot. Someone's come down with it. Coco Garson. About 6 pairs of hands went up all at once. But I think Garton, it's probably between her and Emma McDonald for the tallest player on the field. Hits the shins of a teammate. Good tackle by Barnett on McMillan. What I will say is the sun's in UQ's eyes now, but if they can break through into the forward 50, that part of the ground is entirely in shadow. So the reward is there if they can somehow break through the sun barrier. McDonald, turnover on the right wing, over the head of Katie Day. Check side. Stallard! Henning's got her hands up. I think she felt she was pushed in the back by Stallard at the beginning of that contest. If you double-click the left-hand side of your screen, double tap rather, you'll be able to go back 10 seconds and have a look to see if Henning was right. But Jess Stallard's forward craft is well known. She kicked her 80th goal in the competition earlier in the match. And the lead is out to 9 points. The final push from Aspley? Who knows?
Well, again, we've gone from Aspley not kicking in the last quarter to now 2 within 6 minutes.
One of the things I'm really wanting to see in this Bond University QAFLW is we don't have a lot of seesawing games. That most games tend to have a dominant team, and that's something that AFL Queensland's trying to work on with things like bringing in the point system and various other equalisation measures. But when we get one, my goodness, we've got one today. UQ trying to keep it that way. Jesse McMillan bursting out of the middle, brought to ground but disposed just in time. They're inside 50. Jasmine Kawa beats one tackle, chips over the top with the left foot, got it towards Vetter, handballs into Kawa! Jasmine Kawa!
Yeah, what a run from Kawa. The second effort, she'd release the ball in a pretty good position in itself, but to come back around and put herself in an even better one. Fantastic run there. 3 goals, 7 minutes. That's pretty damn good.
Now, they've still got to finish the job today, of course, Aspley. But part of my mind is going to thoughts of what this means for the rest of the season. They've got their first matches against Bond and Southport out of the way. As this ground has dried out throughout the afternoon, their plays become more effective. But to be honest, I think they got it right when the ground was still soggy. Jessie McMillan is starting to be that ball-winning... There was a bit of high contact, so Aspley's got the free kick. That ball-winning central midfielder, and she's creative. Played the 1-2 with Pittman. McMillan, beautiful dummy. Gets it deep inside 50. Snowden! Athletic, balletic, just plain classy. Needs to finish off the job. Clears 50. And Sammy Snowden, if UQ go down today, it won't be because of her efforts. Picked off by Mackenzie. There was a throw. And obviously, Jess Cunning saw no advantage to Aspley, so called it back. Pittman to Kawa. Not quite able to hold on, but her tail is up. Breaks yet another tackle. Found Vetter on the wing. Inside to Pittman. Wide to Mackenzie. Pittman. Henning! Stung by conceding the goal to Stallard.
Very great tackle from Henning. Just prior to that play, pretty much no one else really went for Pittman. She was able to run completely free. Shouldn't have taken that long for someone. Obviously Henning had to be the one in the end, but it shouldn't have taken that long for someone to have a good crack.
Yes. And Duffy taking a good mark, then to McMillan, then goes out wide to Hunt. Hunt goes for the tap on the ground rather than the bounce. It's a decent shot for goal. Through the hands of Hollows. Hollows taps through. Touched. I think what the umpire's saying is that the original kick was touched. There'll be a conference, and then Hollows didn't get a foot to it until after it crossed the line. I know I'm putting in a lot of words in the mouth of someone a long way away. This will be an interesting conference. It is a goal to Hollows.
Well, this is carnage now from Aspley. The score really blown out now.
And that other cheer you just heard was from the clubhouse of the North Mackay Saints. That you could hear that from here at St Lucia.
So 53-32. You'd hope UQ can just hold on now and finish strong. You'd hate to see them drop the heads after what has been a pretty good effort from them so far.
Now, another 5-6-5 infringement. Is it the same side? Yes, it's against UQ, so this time, because they had the warning earlier in the match, Duffy gets the free kick in the middle of the park. Not sure that playing on was the right response, but Liesi will get to the ball first. Almost trot on the ball. Don't do that, Lucia. Went up towards O'Flaherty, who's been brilliant as that attacking midfielder today. I don't know how the coaches are going to pick a top 6. For each side, that is.
Yeah, there hasn't, for Aspley, I mean, I feel like there hasn't been a clear standout in that I feel like each of their key players has really lifted when they needed to.
And we'll go through the team list soon. I mean, Jasmine Carr has obviously been superb. Holly O'Flaherty, Katie Day. I'm turning into Bruce McAvaney here. I'm just
naming everyone.
Holly O'Flaherty, Katie Day. Gee, she's been good. Day around the outside of the bar. Sorry, I'll stop it. Out of bounds. I stopped before I said special. Boundary throw in. Duffy just knocking it over the back. They're combining well, Aspley. And if you want effort from UQ, how about 6 tackles around the one player? Every now and then, it's amazing how often it happens in the commentated game. You watch a game that changes the course of the season. And you just wonder, a game of this quality, I think it's one of those games where both teams will come out of it with belief. Aspley, it's like, well, hang on, we took on a good side, and not only have we managed to win this, and I'm jumping way ahead there, we've done it by believing in the way we play.
Well, you look at who Aspley have got next. So next week, Moreton Bay. The week after, Maroochydore. Following that, Cooperoo. 3 games you'd really think that they would have a good shot at.
As Stallard takes a mark in the left forward pocket, or probably more like left half forward.
And so 3 games, you know, that can really shift the ladder. If they can get 3 from 3 and this.
4, for those of you wondering. Jess Stallard in the pocket. As Hannah stares daggers at me. She hasn't really kicked the bag this year, Jess Stallard. Just off the chest. Opportunity not over. Thompson across the face of goal. Trying to run it out. Strong tackle from Waller. Boundary throw in. Four goals in 7 minutes for Aspley. In this quarter, McMillan in the 3rd, Stallard in the 6th, Carla in the 7th, Hollows in the 10th. We're now in the 14th. And they are pinning UQ down in their own defensive zone. Free kick goes to Andrews. Kicks into the player on the mark. That's a tired error, and Charlotte Andrews has an enormous engine. I'm simply referring to the amount of pressure that Aspley's put on them. If Charlotte finds out I've apparently criticised their fitness, I'm dead. Liesi. Across the face, probably to a 1-on-2. Was well held out by Snowden, with Henning providing support. Henning with that familiar spin out of the tackle, not able to break free, and didn't have a prior opportunity. 21 points the margin. UQ led by 4 at three-quarter time. Over the top to O'Flaherty. O'Flaherty deserves another goal today. That is not my fault.
Just couldn't hook it round. What a game she's had, though, O'Flaherty. Just been sensational at winning ball. The footwork, the speed.
Well, Glacken's brought her in from the wing this year. She's normally playing as that sort of outer inside midfielder, if that makes any sense at all. But you're right, the work that's done by people like McMillan to release her. O'Flaherty bursting away from contests. And apologies, that did go through for a minor score. I honestly thought it had gone out on the full. So up to 22-point margin. 32 plays 54. Taken by Kawa. Kawa on her bike straight away. Runs her full measure. And then kicks well to the right, and that has gone out of bounds for no score.
Just put the hands to the face, the little apology to the teammates.
I will say she did the celebration before with the one arm twirling in the air. She also did that when she scored in round 1, posted it on Instagram, and then she said, I really need to work on my celebration. So that's she's got improvement to make there, Jasmine Carver.
Yeah, there's some pretty good sellies across the competition.
Yes, Grace Pearson-Smith, I think, possibly leading the charges. Jessa McMillan brings down Nelson. Dawson at the back was able to be cleared in the end by Coleman. A lot of young players in this UQ side who've gotten a good education today. Vanderweel, mustn't forget her efforts early in the game as well, where quite often her link work was the difference between not getting forward momentum and getting it. UQ with a half chance to stream forward. Hargraves tackled off it twice. In fact, it was Barnett. And Aspley doing enough just to make sure that anytime UQ break away, it's interrupted. Garton's been superb in the ruck and around the ground. Intercept marker par excellence so far this season.
And UQ just sending the trainer out. Yet to know who that's heading towards, though.
General direction of Piunti, but she looks fine. And Aspley's shutting it down. Probably not the number one game plan. It's simply that anytime UQ gets the ball, well, your job's to tackle, really, isn't it?
Yeah, they've done a great job at just slowing down this play. Time's on their side. We've just hit 17 minutes in this quarter. So as we said, Aspley should take plenty from this game heading into their next 3.
Katie Day tackled well by Knife. Sartor, who's definitely been one of UQ's best 6 today. And of course, if you like watching the Red Lionesses, we're going to be getting to know them rather well over the next month or so.
Yeah, we've got a couple of their games coming up as well. They're taking on Cooperoo next, Bonduni and Yeronga.
And the Cooperoo game will be our next commentated game. That's in 2 weeks' time. The competition takes a break next Saturday. Oh, just not being able to be brought down by Vanderweel, who just copped a stray boot in the head. She looks unaffected, but someone's boot crashed into the old Vanderweel noggin. Maybe just call that the Vanderweel. Kawa. Who worked so hard over the off-season on her fitness and body shape, ran marathons. And I think she's been frustrated this year, Jasmine Carla. And so forget the celebrations. What she's been working on is a reason to celebrate. And she's played a key role in giving Aspley one of those today. The final quarter blowout means it's not the classic we thought it might become, but it's been a high-quality game of Bond University QAFLW football. There are photographers around, desolve images I can see here. So during the week, there'll be plenty of photos from this game online. O'Flaherty on the ground. I'm going to stick my neck out and name a best on ground. I'm going to go Jasmine Kawa, simply because of the number of roles she's played well in this match.
Oh, I would pretty much agree. I think the intensity, for me, that she's brought has just been exceptional. You know, like we said, they start a little bit slow, and I feel like she's one of those players that really leads by example and that is really willing to just push to her absolute limits to get the result, and I really feel like she's done that this afternoon.
Aspley got a free kick, put it forward. Lucy Thompson boots it from the 50. There is no one in the goal square. Lanika Hollows, it's so good to see her pace again. Got an unlucky bounce, tapped it inside, looking for space, back to Stallard. That's her worst kick of her lifetime.
What Daniel meant to say is that he's seen some very exceptional kicks from Jess Stallard, and unfortunately that one wasn't it right there.
That genuinely is what I was pointing out, is that Jess has done some amazing kicks. I have screamed her name at grand final. She must know I love her. O'Flaherty from a fair way out, drills it across the face. You would think... Oh, sorry, Hannah.
Oh, I think we're about to say the same thing. Sounds like the clock is ticking down. Only be moments left of this one today. UQ unable to score in this final term. So it really was an ebbing and flowing game. Each side just picking an entire quarter to shine. You almost think if UQ had one more, a fifth quarter, they could have come back within it, but that will be the challenge for them now.
UQ connecting well, coming out of defence. Sartor had the clearing kick. Went to Pionti. Going without it was Sartor. Over the top from Garton. Sartor again. Don't know if she's been UQ's best, but she's certainly been one of their best.
I think the standout for UQ for me today, no surprises, is Elka Barnett. As we round out round 6 of the Bond University QAFLW. Well, the Aspley Hornets, a fantastic comeback. They started that first term down 20-7. Able to come back to the 28. Didn't kick a single goal, a single point in that third term. And to finish it off like that, 55-32. Daniel, who were our goal scorers today?
The 5 for the University of Queensland. It was 2 to Emily Rogers, both in the first quarter, 2 to Elka Barnett, and 1 to Faraday Hopkins. For Aspley, there were doubles to Jessie McMillan and Jess Stallard, and then singles to Holly O'Flaherty, Lanika Hollows, Lucy Thompson, and Jasmine Kawa.
And the standouts for you, I mean, we were just talking about, Aspley and Stallard and how, didn't get that last one, but otherwise a fantastic game. And there were even a few unforced errors, which I feel like had Aspley been on top of a little bit quicker, I think the scoreline could have potentially blown out even further in that last term. Yeah, it's and I mean, once again, let's not forget how muddy it was underfoot. The umpires are making their way off the ground. I thought they were excellent today. Whether errors in there, probably the assessors will take care of that. But I didn't feel they had an influence on the result, which is what you always want. For UQ, Barnett was fantastic. Sartor. Sammy Snowden, I think, is someone I'm really looking forward to watching her as we call UQ 3 times in the next 4 rounds over the next little while. Jessie Henning, I've been a fan of for 4 years. There's no surprises there. But yeah, Jasmine Kawa, Anna Vanderweel in defence was fantastic for Aspley. Jessie McMillan and Holly O'Flaherty both winning the ball in the centre and bursting out of the centre. Absolutely fantastic. Olivia Hunt did some very good things out on the wing, and I can see why Luke Glackens brought her into the top grade. And Lucia Liesi is someone who I think, because I've seen her play amazingly, I often don't pay attention to her when she's merely very good. But I felt that today, Liesi throughout the play, particularly the number of times she was a support player for Kawa and got the ball moving forward, I thought Liesi played her role superbly today. So their second win of the season, the Aspley Hornets. Is this the one to put them back on track? It's been a pleasure to have you with us this afternoon. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Remember, there is a competition by next week. My name's Hannah Davies and Daniel Viles. Thank you so much for your company today, everyone. We'll catch you in 2 weeks.